We are honored to be joined by the Honorable United States Congressman Donald Payne Jr. from the 10th Congressional District. Congressman, great to have you with us.
Oh, it's great to be here with you, Steve. Thank you.
Congressman, tell everyone your committee assignments are so significant, and there's some new developments, so talk about that. What exact committees are you on?
Well, initially I serve on the Homeland Security Committee for the House of Representatives, and also Transportation Infrastructure, where I just become the chairman of rail pipelines and hazardous materials.
Important stuff. Do this for us. The American Rescue Plan, the $1.9 trillion Biden, if you will, plan. Impact on New Jersey and your district, and also you've had a hand in that as well.
Well, you know, Steve, we worked very diligently since last May to try to get some relief to the state and local governments. It was very important to us, not only making sure that our constituents received the $1,400 stimulus check, which was very important to many people, but we knew that the strain that the COVID pandemic placed on governments was very serious. And so we advocated since last May, actually, to get them some relief. And finally, under President Biden, we were able to do so in the American Rescue Plan. You know, it was very good for New Jersey, and along with my colleagues, we advocated that the state will get more than $10 billion to help pay for COVID expenses and other government-related expenses. So, you know, I fought for my district to get almost $920 million. So I'm very proud of that.
And we're taping on the 6th of April. This will be seen later. The infrastructure bill, and because you understand infrastructure more than most, it's not a sexy topic, but boy, is it important, Congressman, correct? Talk about why that particularly matters in our region.
Oh, my goodness. It is critical to our region for the simple fact that we have the Gateway project that we're trying to accomplish. Is a multi-billion-dollar project that would add an additional tunnel going into New York City under the Hudson River, and is crucial to us really repairing the other two tunnels. We need a third tunnel in order to do the repairs on the others, because you can't just have one with two-way traffic, obviously. And so we need to create the third tunnel in order to do the repairs on the other two that are over 100 years old. And believe me, Steve, you are glad that you go through there in the dark, because you would not want to see the disrepair of those tunnels.
And that's just Gateway, but you've got mass transit in there, you've got clean energy in there, you've got a whole range of initiatives, particularly in an older urban community. By the way, I was remiss, Congressman, let everyone know the specific communities you represent in the 10th District.
I represent communities in Hudson, Union, and Essex counties.
It's a very diverse district.
Very diverse, very diverse. Everywhere from Newark, New Jersey to Glen Ridge, so, and everything in between. So I have some of the most affluent Americans in the country and some of the neediest as well.
Congressman, let's talk January 6th, the insurrection, the attack on the United States Capitol. We asked your colleague, Congresswoman Bonnie Watson-Coleman, this. We've asked Mikey Sherrill, Congresswoman Sherrill, we've asked others. Just give us your view of why it was such a tragedy for this nation and is such a tragedy for this nation.
You know, Steve, it was still pretty surreal for me with what we witnessed that day. So-called American patriots storming the Capitol with the Confederate flag and using that as one of their mantles. It is a sight that, you know, for the life of me, I cannot get out of my head. You know, these rioters, and you know, it's interesting. It's interesting the difference when you have you know, white Americans in the streets, they're protesters and they're civil disobedience. But when it's African Americans or Blacks that do the same thing, they're rioters. And you know, this situation, I call them the treasonous insurrectors, and that's how I labeled them. It
When
was
former President, one second, I'm sorry for interrupting, Congressman. When former President Trump says, come on, it really, quote, I'm paraphrased, he not only said it wasn't that bad, he said in many ways they were heroes.
well, you know,
They're
thank goodness
patriots.
thank goodness he's the ex-president. I think that's a.
How much damage do you think he did to our nation, Congressman?
Oh, it's going to take us years to clean up a lot of the mess that he made. It is a situation that God forbid that he had another 4 years. I don't know if this country could have survived. Steve, I finally saw how fragile, and people said it all my life, you know, how fragile this democracy is. I got to see just how fragile it was.
Yeah.
It was a situation that I was worried, were we going to be able to survive this president? But this country is resilient, the people are strong, and goodness and fairness won out in the end. And thank God he's the former president of the United States.
Congressman, you mind if we do this? You talked about how you grew up and what you heard about democracy being fragile. If you don't mind staying there, I would like to just, as we end this segment, can I just do a couple minutes with you in a separate interview that will air in a different program? We're actually doing a series looking at prominent African-American leaders in our nation, some of whom are no longer with us. And one of them, frankly, at the top of the list is your dad, the late Congressman Donald Payne, making history in our nation, the first African-American to serve in the congressional delegation in our state. Do you mind doing a couple minutes with us right after this to talk about your dad and why his legacy continues to be so important, not just for the district he represented, the state, but most importantly, the nation? Do you mind doing that?
Not at all, not at all.
Okay. Congressman, thank you for joining us for this segment. Go ahead. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention while we're on the topic of the 6th of January, I introduced a bill a week or so ago, right, which is the No Honor for Treason Act. And this bill will deny proper military funeral honors to any servicemen or women convicted of felony for the Capitol riots.
Important. Thank you, Congressman. Stay right there. That is Congressman Donald Payne, the 10th Congressional District. We're honored by you joining us. Thanks so much, Congressman.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.